Dodson, Unit 2, Speech. Audience. Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you for your attendance during these hard times. My name is Hope Dodson, and I have no idea who I am. Could you imagine being asked, how do you see yourself, and having absolutely no idea how to answer it? So I'm going to use this time therapeutically so that I, along with you, can hopefully figure out who I am. For as long as I can remember, I have suffered mental health illnesses, and over time, they have become a way to describe me as well, as if nothing else could anymore. I can recall battling depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder for many years, but I could never recall why. Mental health was sort of a taboo subject in my home, so growing up talking about it never really seemed like an option. Over time, my mental illnesses worsened, and I couldn't mask my emotions, and I couldn't control my reactions or my words. People closest to me decided they couldn't handle me, and I couldn't blame them because I also could not handle me. At some point, I lost the memory of what it felt like to be happy. I went from being voted social butterfly in grade school to being an introvert who comes up with excuses to purposely exclude herself from social situations. I started losing friends, family members didn't talk to me much anymore, and I finally let myself fall apart. If you would have asked my sister to describe me, she would have said, that chick's got problems. And mental health became the way to describe who I am. Even now, when I question who I am, I only seem to come up with one result: mentally ill. So I understand how the meaning of my existence merged with my mental illnesses in the eyes of so many people, because I saw it too. Instead of telling myself I needed help, I allowed them to take over and take blame. Imagine somebody treating you terribly and then saying, sorry, I'm bipolar, like it didn't mean anything to them. That was me. Honestly, I still can't control every action, but I know that I can control my reactions. I started chasing happiness, and the first place I turned to was a mental health facility. There, my social worker told me, you have felt this way for so long, you believe this is normal. And she was right. When I realized this feeling wasn't normal, I realized I needed to get better. I started taking what I learned in the hospital and my psychology classes and applying them to my own personal therapy, where I myself play the role of therapist. I learned a lot about where I wanted to be first, not necessarily in life, but in general. For instance, I wanted to be in nature all the time. Honestly, I'm not sure anyone knows where they want to be in the future, and it's stressful trying to figure it out. But knowing where you want to be now is pretty easy. I quit thinking about the future because who I am now is who I am. Who I am in the future is pretty irrelevant. I'm not my mental illnesses, and I may not be this great contribution to this earth, but I am still here. And if I'm going to be here, I can at least teach my children to find happiness in life. Instead of allowing myself to focus on the dark and destructive aspects of life, I forced my mind to see beauty instead. Spending time in nature allowed me to see beauty in the earth and to find happiness within it. And I became obsessed with our connection with the earth, and that used that mindset in my heart. Still talking about it now gives me a sense of belonging, so I decided to do what I can to help the earth. It may be small, but it released the endorphins in my brain that I thought had been locked up for years. The things I learned about myself may be small and to some useless, but I'm learning that life's meaning may not have to do with our contribution to others or to invent the next best thing, but rather to be here now and to survive with the people we love. My contribution is my children, and I'll teach them what took me 20 years to figure out. I'm doing my best to help this earth, and in doing so, I'm teaching my children to do the same while increasing my happiness. And I may have missed a lot of time becoming my mental illnesses, but what I've learned about myself this time is that I can't change that now. But I can focus on the now aspect and take control of that. Everything I've learned from my mental illnesses, my worst moments and my best moments, to everything I've taken in while sitting silently and simply listening, will be passed on to anybody who chooses to listen, but mainly my children. I guess what it all comes down to is this: my name is Hope Dodson, and in this moment, I am finally happy.